County. What a sunshiny, beautiful afternoon it is all throughout Florida. So let's get straight to the breaking news. As you may have heard about the man Earl Gideon breaking and entering into the pool hall in Panama City, Florida, and stealing money from the vending machines there. Well, now Gideon is being tried for that crime today, and he is defending himself because he can't afford a lawyer for his defense. The case looks like it's about to end soon with a verdict on Gideon. So let's go over to Austin and see what's going on over there and what's his verdict.
Well, it doesn't look good for Gideon in this case. He may get years of jail time if convicted. Oh, wait. They look like they just got done, and there's a jury member right here. Let's see what happened and what the verdict was. Hello, sir. I understand that you were on the jury for the Gideon case. Will you tell me what happened, what the verdict was?
Hello. What happened? And there was sure something. A man who wasn't even a lawyer was trying to defend himself, and he didn't convince me he wasn't guilty. Our jury felt the same, and we sentenced him to 5 years in prison.
There you have it, folks. Gideon was sentenced to 5 years in prison of his crime of breaking and entering.
Thank you, Austin, for that news update. Justice has been served.
Good morning, Bay County. We have some big news. A few years back in 1961, there was a case on a man named Earl Gideon for breaking and entering. As this man was sentenced to 5 years in prison, Gideon was never appointed a lawyer in his defense for his crime. Instead, he had to defend himself in his case. Since Gideon had to defend himself in court, it has brought some news today that Gideon is going to the Supreme Court because he believes that him never being appointed a lawyer is unconstitutional, violating the Sixth Amendment. He is very angry and taking this very seriously. One of the things in the Sixth Amendment is the right to be represented by counsel. Let's go on over to Summer as she interviews Gideon on this case. Action.
Hello, I am here with Earl Gideon, going to interview him on what's going on today on the Supreme Court case, seeing that it has become very well liked about considering what you are claiming is unconstitutional for you to be not appointed a lawyer in your case. Why take this to the Supreme Court?
Well, I feel I need to take this to the Supreme Court because it was unconstitutional for me not having a lawyer. I wanted to be seen and heard, and that my right to counsel had been violated in my case. If I had been appointed a lawyer back then, my sentence could have been reduced. But I had to defend myself for the case, and I didn't have any other choice. I tried to get to the Florida court to listen to me, but they denied my petition, and so I felt I needed to get to the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, to get this all straightened out.
Did you ever request an attorney from the court in Florida you were originally tried at before the breaking and entering crime?
Yes, I actually did request it, but the court denied me an attorney. They said they were only appointed attorney if the case had been a capital case.
Do you believe the Supreme Court will rule in your favor today?
I do hope so, because that was unconstitutional and I will be heard.
Thank you, Mr. Gideon. We have heard from Mr. Gideon and his side of the case, and he sounds like he's very hopeful and faithful that he will win today. Now back to the studio.
Well, it seems to be that the Supreme Court has ruled in Earl Gideon's favor. His case will be reviewed and he will be given an attorney to defend him. I see Judge Warren. Hello, Mr. Warren. Can you tell me what has just happened?
Mr. Gideon won the case. It was unconstitutional for him not to be appointed by an attorney. This is clearly implied in the Sixth Amendment. It doesn't matter how little or big the crime can be.
Thank you, Judge Warren, for your time. Let's go back to the studio.
Now we are going to interview Wainwright and see his side of the case. Now to Austin.
I'm here with Wainwright, Secretary of the Florida Department of Corrections. Good afternoon, Mr. Wainwright. So what's going on in this case between you and Mr. Gideon?
Earl Gideon made a petition to the Florida Supreme Court about not having an attorney and getting one appointed to him for this case. The reason we denied this was because all of us believe the only reason a person gets appointed an attorney is they have committed a capital crime. His crime was breaking and entering into a pool hall, and that is not a capital offense. So taking this into account, we did not approve his petition and he decided to take this to the next step up, and now here we are on the same issue at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Do you believe this case should have been taken this far as to go to the Supreme Court?
I don't think it was necessary because I think we could have dealt with no attorney for such a little crime.
Anything else you might like to add?
We did what we thought was right under the state of Florida and stand by our decision. I have to get ready for my case.
Thank you for your time.
Ending to such a little issue that turned into a major problem. The Supreme Court did rule in Earl Gideon's favor and will be retried for his crime and indeed have an attorney. We are running out of time. Tune in tomorrow at 6. Thanks for watching us. Thank you, Austin, for that news update. Justin.
This very seriously. One of the things in the Sixth Amendment is the right to be represented by counsel. Let's go over to Austin.
Gideon went to the Supreme Court to...
Well, it was clearly sorry. It doesn't matter if it's a little stop.
Gideon's claim for being
Anybody now?
Why take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
Okay, stop.
Go.